or partner in this case. So here I need to redirect. He's too young, too strong, and too fast. I can't be in front of him. Yeah. But yet I can change the equation here. So what am I doing? So like I have a volcan and shoot down here, here. It's my opening move. Okay? Clean, crisp, remote or EV. So that'll be our first application. Here is here, follows here. I change the center of the kit. I have to change the equation. I'll be opening move. In illustrating the movement, the omote relimi entering, there's an exercise that I like to do with the jump. So we're here and then come here. Okay. Here we push, I push. Okay, this is sort of a stand-up here, so how do we overcome this? Well, we change the center line and we change the position in the equation. So he's strong here. I can't overcome his power, but I can change my position. Here, it comes here. We both push. So there's a force against force. At this point, I simply turn and up. So this is what we're doing. And you can be open to many, same thing with Tenkan. So clear distinction. Okay. If he doesn't really hold, okay, he's there putting his time. Well, I go like this no matter how good I am. There's no connectedness. I really don't have to do anything there because he's really on the cut. But in order to understand, he has to have a good solid position in the cut. He has to be committed to what he's doing. And likewise, then I need to listen, and then you can get your position. Okay, but if there's no commitment in your attack, you don't really have to do anything. You have to be connected. And it's very easy if you're both committed to good training. So you have to be a good, and a desire. Remember, it's 50-50. So be involved. If they're not being affected by your movement, one of two things. Either they're not attacking, giving you something to work with, or we need to reevaluate your technique. Sometimes both. So nonetheless, it's usually depending on how he attacks or grabs. Okay? So I want a good solid centered grab. So especially no matter what level you are, always go back to a good solid. Yeah, again, he's really into the basics. Foundation here and extend. And you enter here. Now to conclude, you bring it up like you're cutting here. And extend. Okay? Try it again.
I think that.
It doesn't have to be large, it doesn't have to be mean. But the intent, you know that we communicate probably 98% non-verbally. So how then do we communicate? Another medium, we can't sense, but it's very real. So you have to convince. I always mention in my dojo, never ask for permission to throw something. Now I don't mean to become reckless or haphazard or dangerous, but what I mean is, once you have all your ducks in a row and you're skilled at what you do and you work with someone to their capabilities. You don't take a new person and throw them, obviously, in an advanced way. But with all these things are meshing, you have a good quality partner for what you're doing, you throw. That's why we're here. You know, you do it. You don't ask permission. It's a given. Okay. So when you move, you're congruent. Right? So if I'm doing, say, a leaping exercise here, I don't ask him, to fall. And I make sure he falls because of my way I conduct myself. And I always use an analogy. I like to be like a conductor in a symphony. When you're up, when you're on 9/8, you're the conductor. Well, when he does, everyone falls. So that's a good, a good medium to work with. So in the motion here, it's from here, region, and then just even back. And you have to animate your movement. Aikido is about animating and moving. And I always animate to the nth degree. The reason why is because, as I mentioned yesterday, under adrenal stress or a life-threatening situation, your movements are going to change. Your physiology changes. Your psychology changes. And you might be working intensely, but you're only going to be working about 60% efficiency. So make your movements a little more animated now, because in a real situation where it's threatening, you're only going to get about 60%. Make that 60% 100%. You know, over exaggerating, so to speak. So if I want to go back, just not like that. But he's flying that. You better sit up, right? I think yesterday I discussed it like, a child. It's not good for a child to just get up and walk. You miss developmental stages. Likewise, people that practice Aikido without the developmental stages are really not practicing what I would call orthodoxy Aikido. So you have to have a good solid basic. Then sometimes you have to open up a little bit and test the water a little bit. But you can't do that effectively or realistically unless you have that solid core. That makes sense, doesn't it? So, but don't be afraid to expand out a little bit gradually and see if it's working. If it's not working, go back to the basic. From this same premise, I like to do a more static technique. Now, I want, to think of themselves as a spring. So in other words, it's a very heavy-duty industrial spring body. So I want you to, I'm making that spring bend. Okay? And I want you to feel that same way, just like a spring bending. Okay? And I don't want to take it all the way down this time, which if you took somebody down, you don't care how they down. You don't take it down, right? But here, we're going to do a practice. So we have to get used to this. So what happens if it's a very strong spring? I make it bend, and I let it come back out. What will happen? It'll create an energy, right? An energy which will come back. So then here's what I propose. I propose that we go here as that energy comes back. So that gives up my advantage. So I'm thinking Aikido is working natural energies and movement. So from here, you're the spring. As change, you use that energy. Now you can use that energy effectively for yourself, if you position yourself right. That can be devastating if you create that much energy and it comes back directly on you. Make sense? You don't want to be in the way. Okay? So, yeah. You can't just use this way here. And it comes back up. Use the energy to get your position after your basic. Practice. And we do an exercise we can do in lines. Okay, this is, you might find it a little difficult for beginners, even advanced, my friend. You'll be okay. So the movement here. So as he comes, you check here, one more day, and so here. Now, slide one more day. Give it a try. One thing great about seminars and my years of training, I've always felt what I couldn't figure the hell out when I was training. At a seminar, 6 weeks, 6 months later, wow, the light goes on. Yeah, there it is, that aha moment, So it's not all in vain. It's difficult, great. Right? If it wasn't, we wouldn't need schools and teachers. Okay. All right. Let's, I want to change up the so like we're going to do show, but situations change. So one thing about Aikido is it taught us to be, deal with variables. Everything's all about changing, intervening variables all the time. That's why you can't be static or so fixed in your approach. So at this point here, I may be doing this technique, and this really someone trying to get me from another angle. So instead of concluding that, it's really not good. So, my caution to you on this technique is don't go into it with the idea of doing the Viginarya or you won't do it. You have to freely do the Ura in the last moment. Change up. Okay, try it. It has to, see, look at all the space you took. I was trying to do it small. Yeah, we can do that. Most important thing is make that seamless transition. Does that make sense? I'm doing here, I'm doing the skill more, then I'm shortening it up right here. So, and that's why I cautioned you initially, don't go for the Iwi Minage until you've gone through the whole cycle of the Ikkyo Ura. It has to be at the last moment change. So it's totally unset. In fact, you shouldn't even know you're going to do it. What determines you're doing it is a variable coming up that requires it, right? Somebody coming at you from another position. You then use them as a shield. Right? So I'm here, I'm going to here. She's coming at me here. So I use him. That's why you do it. So you really shouldn't know you're doing it until you have to do it. Make sense? All right, try it. It's a non-traditional application, so to speak. It's something that you might find, happen, especially for a smaller person, somebody trying to be intimidated. From here, what you're going to do, well, yeah, okay, so we're here, and I'm going to move. Now, would you just reverse? So as I go to move, I move, okay? So in other words, say we're at a bus stop or something like that. I can just go take this, all right, okay, or hold. So you might think it as an intimidation technique. Somebody doing it to somebody smaller, or a man to a woman, or someone into some man. You never know. So in this case, anyways, it's a very basic Nikyo, but be careful with it because it has a lot of leverage. Okay. So here, he's holding it. I go to move. It's very difficult. So I do out here, I come back. So here, just like in any other thing, I'm going to take up the slack. I'm going to carry the traditional feature. I'm going to roll the elbow in, and then I'm going to cut right down the center line. It's not as difficult as it looks, but it's not conventional. You find it here. Again, you want to take out the slack, grab it here, get this arm over. Now, ideally, you want to get this up here. And practice, please. Here, say, here. I'm going to just, as he goes to walk away, I'm going to reach him with, say, not this type of grab, which we would normally do, but you know where to go. Here, grab. Here. Okay. So, in this case, it's my right grab, it's the opposite side. So I saw some straight. Yeah, and it's side by side because it's not bad. It's something that, like I said, happens anywhere, you know. So it's just my right down, this left, my right, verse here. Now, and you're keeping them as Mike tries to go forward. I don't want him to go forward. See, so now he starts to take a slack, and that's where